And welcome everyone to Pure Advice. We love getting together every Monday at 12. And the concept and background of Pure Advice is doing nothing more than providing advice that is worthwhile. It's a non-salesy presentation. It allows each of us to share some of the different things that we find important to business people to advance their businesses, to help them with marketing, to help them with whatever. And so during this year, every Monday at 12 noon, we're going to have some fun having different people on to share their pure advice. This week, we've asked Boyd Peterson, a good friend that I've probably known for I don't know how many years, but Boyd, back in the BNI early days when we were together, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. And then even before that, Boyd Peterson was a former owner of the City Journals, and so he has a lot of marketing experience to provide. And so we've asked him to make a short presentation about some of his expertise dealing with social media and marketing.
So you want me to go? Okay, all right. Hey, I actually do have some things I'm going to show because there's some cool things that I have in this. So this is part of that hour-long presentation. But so normally I do this, and then I talk about the pros and cons for each one of them. Today, I'm just going to talk about the things that you can do with it and why they're important to businesses. Now, I keep being asked all the time about why I choose these top 8 to talk about. And there's some that are coming up, but there's some that just simply are not great for business promotion. Okay, so these are the ones that are the top 8 for business promotion. And so they're the ones you want to use in your business. Now, there's some like people are saying, oh, TikTok, you got to do something with that. There isn't a place for TikTok. It is still very, very niche oriented, not as well for for most businesses yet. And so as they get more developed and other things, then I would probably add TikTok into it and drop one of my others as the top 8. But today we're going to talk about the top 8 that I have found to be the most advantageous to business. Now, first off, I want to talk about. Hold on, I got to get my. There we go. So the first thing I want to do is, what is social media? There's a lot of different people that define it. I'm using Wikipedia. Yeah, I know it's not always 100% accurate, but according to Wikipedia, social media are computer-mediated tools that allow people to create, share, or exchange information, ideas, pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff. And it's a great thing. But what is social media marketing? It is a way of getting traffic and attention through social media to a website, to all kinds of other places, landing pages, and some people even go just directly to a phone number, or if you're involved in a brick and mortar business, it can get you traffic there. It's all about traffic. With most people, there are a couple people who will use it to help build a customer service base, and they'll do their customer service through social media. But for the most part, it's to send traffic to somewhere to get more business. Now, who are the top 8? We're going to talk about them. They're not in any specific order, although I'll tell you the order that they're in a little bit. So, of course, Facebook, and yes, they're number 1 in having the most people on it. But for most businesses, they're not always number 1 in being able to get you the best traffic. We'll talk a little bit about that. Here's another one, YouTube. People say, well, wait a minute, YouTube, that's not a social media. Yes, it is. If you can watch the video, and then after the video, you can leave comments, and then I can comment to it, that's social. And that's what social media is about. YouTube is one of those very interesting type of social media or site, because it is also the second highest site after Google for searches. And so if it's that's a great thing. Now, of course, if you're using Google and YouTube together, they can really do some great things. And that's a topic for another day. The next one is LinkedIn. For businesses, This is great. If you're trying to contact business owners, this is a great way of doing it too. But not all business owners are on there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get going. Twitter is another one that's in the top 8. It is close to the bottom, though. It was interesting. Just before the elections in 2005, or actually 2006, I guess, Twitter was just dropping below the number 8 spot. And Snapchat was actually in there. But then with President Trump doing all the Twitter posting and everything, it brought up Twitter. And so Twitter's been going quite high, but it's now losing its base as well. And so I don't know if it'll stay there, but it is still strong. And so we want to consider it. Now, this says Google Plus. It's really Google My Business. And I'll talk about that when we get to that, excuse me, a little more. So, but Google My Business is really important, and it is one of the social media sites you want to be paying attention to. Pinterest is another one. People discount that.
Best of all, Google My Business is free to business people.
It is. Well, all of these are free to the businesses if they do it right. And, you know, for organic, it's all free. So, okay, the next one I have is, of course, is Instagram. I use the old logo on this because I like that old logo, because I'm an old photographer. And so, you know, it's kind of fun. But then the last one is Tumblr. They'll go, who's Tumblr? What's Tumblr? And I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. So I'm going to go through each one of these a little bit. And so, you know, I mentioned this before. What is the purpose of social media? It really is to drive traffic somewhere. Now, Google says that 80%, just over 80, not quite 81, no, of all social media traffic is being pushed to a website. That's a good thing. Now, it can be landing pages instead of a website, but it's still counted as a website. The other 20% go between going to an email or a phone number or to an actual physical location. And so there are people who are using it for that. But one of the key things is even your emails should be sent to your website to drive traffic there. And then what happens is once you get things to your website, make your website work like a funnel, an education, move people along funnel that will then get them ready to become leads. Actually, at that point, they'll become prospects, not leads, because they're coming into the funnel as leads. Okay, they become customers. So there's a lot of people that I work with that they just love sending people to their website, and people will buy right from the website. And so that's something that you can do. The other one is, of course, getting your repeat buyers back to the website so they're continually being helped along, and also so that they can actually send you some leads. So that's what this is, what social media is all about, driving that traffic. And so let's, oh yeah, there's something I always hate to hear. And it's when somebody says, oh, I need to stop advertising for it. I'm going to try social media now. Okay, if you really want to. But there's things that you can do between the two of them. And it's really important to understand that not by doing only one thing at a time, sometimes is not the best. In fact, Larry and I are working with a company that they do a lot of postcards. And they do really well with postcards. It does not, it's not a good thing for them to just drop their postcards to go to social media. They ought to start their social media and get it built up. And then if it takes over what postcards are doing, then they should, scale back on the postcards or eliminate them at some point. But I don't think that that's necessary for them. I always used to run a community newspaper, and we used to find that when we had one of our customers had an ad in our newspaper, but also had it in one of the other marketing pieces that were out there, like Money Mailer or others like that, we found that between the two of us, we always got more than twice as much business for that business because they were in several places. Okay. So 80% of social media tries fail within the first 60 days. And I want to tell you that is not what's supposed to happen, but it is because people don't know what they're doing and how to use it. And sometimes they hire somebody to do it, but it means that they have to spend more. They, choose the wrong social media sites. We're going to talk about that in a minute. They find it hard to remember to do what needs to be done at the time that it needs to be done. And it's all about time commitments. They don't know what really needs to be done. And so they're just shotgunning it. And that doesn't always work. They really need help. Okay. And they don't ever find an ROI for using social media. Let me tell you that if you're doing social media right, you should, if you're just doing static posts, if you spend an hour a week, you can create all of next week's posts in that 1 hour. And that's up to 2 posts a day if you do that. That's 1 hour. That's all it takes. But you got to know what you're doing and how to do it. And I have whole programs on that, and we're not going to go into that today. Okay, but let's talk about some of these. Now, Facebook has several different sides to it, and I'm going to tell you that do not run a business from your personal Facebook page. And do not change your personal Facebook page to a business page with an exception. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Your personal Facebook page is the basis for running everything from Facebook. You have to have a personal one in order to get a business one. Now, that's important to know, but you don't need to be putting business stuff on there, although you can share some business stuff into it, but do not make it your primary way of attracting business, because Facebook will shut you down if you do. And so that's the key thing you've got to know. You've got to put some personal stuff on there from time to time. Otherwise, they just look at it and say, oh, it's all business. It's a personal. We're shutting it down. And then you can't get a business page on there because you don't have a personal page. A business page is different. It has a whole different structure to it, and it has ways for you to actually get more business there. One of the cool things about business pages on Facebook is you can post to that, and then you share from it to groups, to your personal page, to other websites or other pages that you might have. And from this one page, your business page, you can see all of the shares, all of the comments, all of the likes if you want. Then you have to go in and look at the insights. But by doing that, you have one place that you go. I had one guy I was talking to the other day, and he shares his post to his Facebook business page. Then he shares it to a group, and then to another group, and to another group, and to another group, and to another page that he owns. And he has to go and visit every one of those pages in order to see the statistics on it. All he has to do is post it here and then share it out to all of those others. And he can put an added message to it if he does. Really important to do. Now, there is also another one. Now, let me go back here. There is another type of page, and that is more of a fan page. So I have a couple of people that I work with. They're professional speakers, things like that. Groups are a big thing. So now, Larry, how long do I have? I thought about 20 minutes, or was that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up as we can, Boyd. It's designed to just be a short 10 to 15 minute presentation.
Oh, it's only 10 to 15. I'm sorry. I thought it was 20. So I had it set for 20. Okay. Well, let me tell you about the others real quickly, and I'll be done in 2 minutes then. So groups are important. YouTube is extremely important if you're going to be promoting a website. This sends a lot of people to the website. LinkedIn is great for business people to get in contact with other business people. But if they're just simply trying to get to tradespeople, don't bother here. You're not going to find a lot of electricians or plumbers or even roofers in this area. You've got to go elsewhere for that. And that's where some of the others go. Now, their Instagram is generally, for most businesses, the number one site that they find they get more customers from. It's something you need to pay attention to. Now, with Instagram, there's a lot of things you can do. I have a whole training on just Instagram itself. Google My Business is something you need to remember, because Google My Business is where your internet reviews will reside. Google only pays attention to two places on the internet that have reviews. And Google My Business is one of them, and the other one is your Facebook reviews, not recommendations, reviews. So you need to be aware of that. Twitter, I mentioned it, it's kind of going downhill, but it's still very strong for businesses. So if your businesses hang out there and follow it, then this is a great place to go. Okay. And then Pinterest, when it started out, was mainly about recipes and craft things, scrapbooks and such. Not anymore. In fact, number 3 is entertainment. Number 4 is fishing. If you like fishing, you want to go to Pinterest and find out all kinds of things about all kinds of fishing types. And losing weight, exercising, those are all big on there. And almost anything you can think of is now a big thing on Pinterest. So, and these are the pins. You can now put videos on there that work very, very well. And Tumblr, the last thing I'm going to talk about real quick then, is Tumblr, and that is, it does, it's static images, but it's also videos, and a lot of people follow Tumblr and are very excited by seeing it. So, in fact, when we had Comic-Con in Salt Lake, this was the number one way they got 125,000 people to the Salt Palace. That's the top 8.
Thank you, Boyd. Appreciate that very much. We appreciate the pure advice every week on at 12 noon Monday, and we encourage you to join us every week at 12 noon to be able to participate in the next topic. Every week we'll have something strong. Next week we're going to talk about the fact that direct mail is not dead. Yes, direct mail still lives, and so we'll talk about that in coming issues of Pure Advice. We'll be talking about the value of LED signs to business people. We'll also be talking about business photography, and so stay tuned to Pure Advice every Monday at 12 noon Mountain Daylight Time. Yes, the daylight time did hit us this weekend. I hope you're all recuperating from a lack of sleep. And thank you so much for coming and being a part of Pure Advice.